Oma awo bezara guru pema sidi woy. 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 Oma awo bezara guru pema sidi woy.
Sangye Jedang Zoge Zonam La Changju Bado Dani Gyamson Chi Dagi Chuso Kibeso Chola Beje Sangye Jo Bajo Sangye Jedang Zoge Zonam La Changju Bado Dani Gyamson Dagi Chuso Kibeso Namgye Chola Beje Sangye Jo Bajo Sangye Jedang Zoge Zonam La Changju Bado Dani Dagi Chuso Kibeso Namgye Chola Beje Sangye Jo Bajo Simje Namje Dewa Dan Dewe Gyudan Dempa Yuje Simje Namje Dunga Da Dunga Ye Gyudan Dawa Simje Namje Dunga Mebe Dewa Da Medawa Simje Namje Nyere Jadan Yedan Tawe Tanyam Da Neba Yuje Ye Bege Jushi Mendo Da Re Ra Re Je Nye De Dempa Sangye Shindo Mede Uwa Ye Nanda Shinga Choba Jo Ye Dam Guru Ranaman Kanye Ataya So, good morning everyone. Good morning. So, so coming back to I think the three principal aspects of the path. Everyone have their water and tea? Oh, yeah. Yes? Okay. Okay. So coming back to the three principal aspects of the path, I think yesterday we roughly went through the idea of renunciation and then I think the experience of bodhicitta, and I think we can go deeper into this in the 3 more days. I think the method to go deeper into this is through question and answer. So so that's why I just roughly touch right now, and once the questions come, then we can go much deeper into them. Yeah. So life, perspective, view, concept, and then understanding these parts, and then the application of the different methods, especially internal methods, right? Internal methods that can help you contemplate life, understand what life is, understand what suffering is, understand what the nature of life is. Now, life for many people is so vast. Everyone has a different lifestyle, everyone has a different background, everyone has different concept, everyone has different experience, and that's what creates life. We view life not based on a perception that is that is pre-downloaded up here, but we view life from a perception through experience, through what we learn, through knowledge, through wisdom, yeah, and through experience. That's how we understand life, and and that's how the Buddha taught that you need to understand life. Through those experiences, there are certain experiences that we cannot escape, including birth and death, right? Birth is something that we need to experience if we are in samsara, in the cycling existence. Death is something that we need to experience whether whether you are a being, or whether you are an animal, or whether you are in the god realm or the demigod realm, or hell realm, wherever you are, whichever realm you are in, that is something you need to experience. So covering the concept of birth, understanding birth, what it is, how we experience it, and how others around us experience it. For a lot of people, there's joy when birth is happening. Yeah. So for a lot of people, there's joy when birth is happening. And for a lot of people, there's suffering when birth is happening. For a lot of people, there's anger when birth is happening. And for a lot of people, the experience is totally different. Nowadays, maybe not so much, but in the recent years before the birth, I think in certain societies, the birth of a daughter was what do you call it? Down looked upon?
Stigma.
Yeah? Huh?
It's considered a stigma.
Yeah, considered a stigma. And for a lot of those people, the parents, they had suffering when they actually experienced new birth. So that again is based on perception. In reality, it's something to be joyous about, something to be happy about. But because of the perception and the conception behind it, how we see that is totally different from what it is. Right? So this is experience. Then same thing with sickness. If your enemy gets sick, you are happy. If your close ones get sick, you are sad. If your loved ones get sick, then you are, what is the word?
Distraught.
Distraughted. Is it?
Distraught.
Distraught. If your loved ones get sick, then you're distraught. Then someone who you don't know, random, if they get sick, then it's mutual. You don't have any emotions at all. Right? And this is the difference. And this is again coming back to what is the conception that we apply that changes how we see things. So today we are going to briefly touch the topic of emptiness. And this is a very essential point when it comes to understanding emptiness, is perception, the view, the concept we apply. So then same thing with old aging. I think the experience of growth, of maturity, then coming the experience of old age. And then the nearer you get to death, the more serious you become for a lot of people. When we are young, we have the view of permanence. We are going to live for a long time. Oh, I still have another 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years to live. And that concept stops our mind from seeing the reality of how fast death approaches. Right? So when you have the opportunity to come to a great age, or when you have the opportunity to become old, then you also have a very, very strong opportunity to better your practice even more. Yeah, like I said, for someone who has a strong view of permanence, practice, yes, is done, but it's not done on the same level as someone who understands that that your time is very short. Yeah? When you're on your deathbed, then your work doesn't matter, your money doesn't matter, your land doesn't matter. What matters at that time is the experience that matters. You want those people who you love to be near you. Yeah? You want to be remembered. Yeah? These are the things that matter at that stage. Most of the things that matter before that stage tend not to matter at that stage. And that's again what? Perspective, view, and conception. The method, the view, the perspective, and the conception that you apply, that changes. That shifts the rhythm of how you experience things. Now that is, I think, for practitioners. Now people who haven't practiced and have given up to greed and given up to possession and given up to grasping attitude. For them, at the time of death, it's all worries. What will happen to the land that I worked so hard to buy and to what we say, excel? What will happen to the money that I worked so hard and it's in the bank right now? Who is going to have a hand in it? Right? So the concept is totally different there again. It's not about embracing. It's not about what we say, being at peace. It's not about working with internal problems. It's about materialistic problems. And where is that going to go? Where is this going to go? What is my daughter going to do? What is my son going to do? How is, so start worrying about all the other things that actually, at the end of the day, you can't take with you. That's the concept there. So I think approaching old age with the background of practice is such an amazing, gift that we can receive. And that is because at the time of death, in learning to embrace death, learning to embrace the life that you had or you spent, that's the most precious thing, most precious way that you can start your new journey. You don't want to start your new journey full of hate and full of attachment and full of anger and full of greed. Because the concept is, once you go, I think there is this concept in whether it be traditional Buddhism or whether it's not untraditional Buddhism, whatever it be, there is this concept that if you sleep at night time with a good motive, then you create, throughout the night, you create a positive merit, positive karma. But then if you sleep with anger and hate, then throughout the night you tend to create negativity. So there is this concept, and the same thing happens when death is also there. At the time of death, when there's fear, when there's a lot of this is going a little bit into the mystic realm. But the concept is, when you are too attached to something, in the Partho stage, your mind becomes, clinged to all possessions, clinged to places, clinged to people. And that's where we experience spirit. That's where we experience spirits. Yeah, minds. Well, in Buddhism there isn't a soul. We say Namshe. What is the exact translation of Namshe? Not exactly soul.
Primary consciousness.
Primary consciousness, yeah. So a part of the primary consciousness that lingers around because it cannot give up on the attachment. It cannot separate. It cannot, like I say, if you want to take a journey, you need to start walking. Right? It's in your hands. When you don't start to walk, you get stuck. That's what happens. That's what happens. So materialistic things are good, useful, but only useful and good while we are alive. Right? So then when we are leaving not with those, but with the, what was the word again? Primary consciousness. And the primary consciousness, one of the best practices is when the primary consciousness is at peace. That's a very, 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 very important part of experiencing death. Meaning you need your primary consciousness to be at peace. Yeah, the wrongs that you did in your life, you have time to mend them. The enemies that you made in your lifetime, you have time to mend them. Yeah, then because of a lot of misunderstanding, we have all sorts of problems with our father, mother, sister, brother, family, friends, and communities and that, and there's so many problems. And some people disappear like this and they never work it out inside. Yeah, and then they think, oh, I'm fine with it. But then when you reach your deathbed, that's when you start to shake. Because whether you believe in karma or not, the concept of cause and condition is already inside, it's put inside here. So whether you believe in a next life or not, you're going to start to hesitate. What if there is? I did this, I did that. What will happen? So the fear, the what do we say? Other, huh?
Doubt of the...
Not doubt. Regret. Yeah. Fear, guilt and regret. Those things is not just practitioners. Non-practitioners also have those. That's where the word, what was it, the light flashing in front of your eyes before death. That's where the word comes from. Because you're figuring out so many things inside your brain, inside your heart, inside your experience, that you had a long time to work out, but you never did. Why? Because the concept of permanence, because the concept of you looking at yourself like you are, what do we say, immortal. The concept of immortality. Those who are young, they have more time to resolve that. Then the older you get, the time shorter and shorter and shorter. My teacher used to explain death to me. Gandhi Rinpoche used to explain death to me and say, you are like a sheep in the, what we say, in the slaughterhouse. You can see death happening, but you still think there is time. You're still unaware of what is in front of you. And then, just because you are young, that also doesn't prove that you still have time. And there comes the concept of death is certain, and its time is uncertain. Right? So there, again, is the reason why, whether you are young or whether you are old, the practice has to happen. Yeah? Important, I think. Extremely important to understand. If not understand, to just contemplate a little bit of this, so that you are ready when the time comes. I say one of the most beneficial practices that you would achieve at the time of death is to learn to embrace death, to be at peace. How beautiful do you think it will be when you are happy, happily embracing death, happily, willingly leaving and looking forward to the next journey? That's beautiful. That's very, very beautiful. Yeah? Not just beautiful for ourselves, but even for the ones that are around us. You don't want to see someone you loved in pain and agony and worrying and what is this? Will, a ton of things on the wheel, my money, it's quite sad to see. Right? Very sad to see. So, one of the core practices in your life would be learning to embrace death. While you are alive, having the ability to make peace within yourself and with the things that matter around you. Make sense? Good. So, then again, with that application, I think we understanding the approach towards these kinds of sufferings, again, like the same method we applied in renunciation and in bodhicitta, the same concept of what do we say? Same concept of learning, or what we say, practicing to take one step forward into the practice, and you understanding that the time, I think one of Rinpoche's most amazing abilities was to make people see that urgency. Rinpoche really focused so much on that urgency. It's urgent, now, now, now. And that is the reason behind why. Right? If you live up to being 80, 90, 100, wow. That means you have more time to practice, more time to get used to death, more time to get used to the concept to embrace death. But if you don't, but remember this, I think one thing I'm going to request you is to remember this when you are, and when the time comes, remember this. Learn to embrace. Learn to look forward to the next journey. That's going to change how you feel inside so much. And just because it's going to change how you feel inside, it's going to also change the karmic conditions moving forward. Make sense? Okay, good. So yeah, so a part of understanding life through renunciation is understanding that these concepts, the concept of impermanence, the concept of death, the concept of suffering, the concept of what to renounce, the concept of what is there to renounce. Then we talked about the body, the senses, the mind, and then how we view reality as we see them. And these are the things that we need to understand when we are practicing to achieve renunciation. Not achieve, attain, no, experience renunciation, and then to move forward into application of renunciation. And these are main important things. And this one you will see out throughout the Lamrim, you will see throughout the Four Noble Truths. You will look into Pragya Paramita, you will follow throughout Pragya Paramita as well. Then also in the Heart Sutra, same thing. Any text you look at, this is an important point that is listed in it. Okay? Then the second point, like I said, how do we come to be at peace? How do we come to learn to embrace? When we are happy, we are at peace. We are willing to embrace. When your mind is at peace and happy, that's when you are willing to hug other people. Right? When your mind is not at peace, not willing to hug other people. You want to shoo them. Shoo. Right? So, the second point, second important point we talked about yesterday, bodhicitta. The Mahaview. So that is the second important point. And to realize how important that is, you need to go through the first phase. First phase. So in order to understand this, you need to go through the first phase. After recollecting all of that, then you go into the second phase. And that's where you understand how important it is to develop such a supreme emotion. Yeah? When there's genuinity, sincerity, unconditionality, especially linked to love, then you're willing to forgive like this, very fast. People cheat Lama Zopa Rinpoche billions of dollars. Forgive like this. Not a second thought. People want to sue those people who cheat. People want to put them in prison and, legal action. Rinpoche, no. Yeah, there are a lot of, this is very, nowadays happening a lot. There's a lot of centers being, taken over by other teachers. People are not happy. Oh, we need to stop that, we need to stay. Rinpoche, offer. This is core practice of sincere, genuine, unconditional love. Nothing can shake it. It's unshakable. Like I said, no other emotion has that, that quality. No other emotion. Right? So the step towards taking that and practicing that to the point where you are free of all the other destructive cross pulling down emotions. So this is the importance. So learning to embrace death, how? Compassion. Yeah, learning to let go, how? Compassion. Yeah, learning to feel free, how? Compassion. We are all bound by those things. We are bound by these misconceptions, these views, delusions, concepts, anger, hatred, societal, values, societal pressure, this. And then we try to work everything around those things. Compassion, we live on the side over there, and we need to balance our government, this job, money. So, we're trying to balance everything there. And we think by balancing all of this, we become free. That's why we find so many people who are free. Not free. Rinpoche was someone who was free. No concept of time, no concept of heat and cold, no concept of mine and theirs, nothing like that. Totally free. Inwardly and outwardly, totally free. I think that is something to aspire to achieve. Not something that comes around that easily. Freedom. And then when you achieve that freedom, then your willingness to work for others also comes very naturally. Naturally. Comes very naturally. Without effort. Even when you are on the path, on the bodhisattva path, there is certain paths that you need to put effort. Effort. Effortless?
Effortless, yes.
Yes, effortless experience. Even on the path, it doesn't come. So when you see someone like Lama Zopa Rinpoche, who effortlessly shows this, there's no doubt that we're on the path. So that's why understanding, like I said, when you joyously, happily, willingly, freely do something, then it's effortless. When you have to think 10 times before doing something, a lot of effort. The practices we do right now, a lot of effort. And before saying some words, I'm thinking 10 times. So should I use this word? Should I use that word? Is this word good? Is that word good? Is this suitable? Is that suitable? And everything is structured. If it's not structured, people don't listen nowadays. Rinpoche's teaching is not structured. Not at all. It flew, it came out like water. Like the river, it's just, what is it? Flowing. No structure. It just flows very naturally. And that's freedom. You think you're sitting in a university, giving a lecture, trying to structure your words perfectly. Okay, this word I need to use here, this word, and this grammatical like this. You think that is freedom? No. It's illusional. Delusional, illusional. Both. Make sense? Good. So through that, we understand the importance of practicing compassion. If not for others, for yourself. Like I said, my capability for others is very limited. I don't know, maybe those who have been practicing compassion for a long time, their ability is more, but mine is very limited. I do when I can, and if I can't, I'm like, I can't. I don't put the effort in it. It's sad, yes, but that's where my mind is at right now. It's sad, but what to do? Yeah, slowly practice, slowly, maybe little progress slowly. But progress is important. You need to understand that I'm saying more than, much more than practice. I have no practice. So just the concept of understanding it a little bit and then mixing it a little bit here and there and maybe giving it a little bit of value, right? But then really understanding compassion. What's fathomable? Fathomable. Compassion is unfathomable. So you need to understand the value of it. My concept toward compassion is not because of others, but for my freedom. I still am grasping to my own self. Like I said, when we are humans, we practice as humans. It's not easy to let go of the grasping I. When someone hurts the grasping I, there is problem. We try to apply the view of emptiness on it, but still, it's unless, yesterday I mentioned studying impermanence for years and years, couldn't compete to how Rinpoche taught, Rinpoche, just by showing. So similar to that, you can study compassion for years and years. But if to understand the value of it, you really need to start digging into yourself. And that's, I think, the second most essential part of practice. We grab onto so many different things in the world. We want to do it all. Is that a word? We are all a do-it-all person. We try this, we try that, we try here, we try there, maybe there, maybe there, maybe there, maybe here. And we try all of those different things, and at the end of the day, after trying all of that, you still feel like you have reached nowhere. That's the experience a lot of us have. When you're 18, 19 years old, you feel one thing. Then when you're 20, you still feel like a kid. Then when you're 30, you still feel like, oh yeah, I still have time and I'm still, Then you reach your 50s, then 60s, then 70s, then 80s, then 90s. It flies by like that. Close your eyes, think about it. Like this. You were young, looks like just a few seconds ago you were young. You were playing in the ground with your friends. And look at yourself now. All grown up. Yeah. And time is going to pass like that. You're going to blink your eye one time, and the next time you open it, you're way out there. That's how time flies. And that's why the essential reason why you need to be, productive with your time. Especially when it comes to practice. Yeah? Understanding compassion, the value that you give to that time, and the approach, and how you use that time to attain freedom. If you have even a slight understanding of what compassion is, then you don't need to worry about death. You don't need to worry about life. You don't need to worry about anything else. Nothing else will. Nothing else will matter. And that's the power of it. Then the essential point to understanding that would be through, like I said, experience. Yeah, the older you are, the more experience you have. The more experience you have, the wiser you get. And then you use those experiences in your life to contemplate how would situations be different if only I had compassion. Yeah? If only I had applied, not have compassion, but applied the view of compassion in that situation. Makes a huge difference if you are able to contemplate that. And that's a practice. Yeah? When someone hits you, that's a practice. When someone does something, it's a practice. So that's the Bodhisattva's path. That's the path that Lama Zopa Rinpoche very, very, very strongly practiced. Yeah? And then comes, I think, then comes the concept of application. Yeah? Wisdom and method. Then comes the concept of application. And I remember His Holiness once said, you need to be a bodhisattva, but don't be a stupid bodhisattva. You need to be a smart bodhisattva. So there comes the application of wisdom and method together. That balances how you approach the practice. And therefore the importance of the view of emptiness. The construction of the view of emptiness is not through an idea of nihilism, right? It's not through to negate the existence of objects or things or values or life or anything like that. Life is there, value is there, object is there. Yeah, the cup is here. The cup is here as it in the form that it appears. It's here. So it's not to negate those things. Negation is a strong word when it comes to what we say, destroying something conceptually. So the concept of you being able to look at an object and understand the object for its own reality is totally different from looking at the object and negating the object. Right? So the view of emptiness, this is one thing I would request all of you to say over and over again, is whenever you say emptiness, 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 don't say emptiness, emptiness, emptiness. Say the view of emptiness. It's important. It's very important to understand that it's just a view that you can apply in order to understand it for what it is. The reality of things, the true nature of things. That's why emptiness, Tandam Demba. Tandam Demba,
Ultimate truth.
yeah, that's why the emptiness, the view of emptiness, when you understand it, when you are taught about it, it's taught as the ultimate truth. Because you start to see things. It exists, yeah. But how does it exist? It exists for what it is. Not for what you validate it for. Not for how you contemplate and you apply different views and then try to understand it. That's totally different from existence. So when you know the true nature of things, if you know the true nature of the mind, you are able to forgive easily. That's why the example of yesterday. When a baby pukes on you, you're able to forgive more easily than when a grown-up does it. When a baby hits you, you are able to forgive more easily than when a grown-up does it. Yeah. So the concept, the concept keeps changing based on how we look at it. Not on how it appears from its side, but how we approach it. And same thing comes for death, like we just talked about. Death is not coming from its side and we are trying to understand it. It's how we learn to approach it that makes the difference in embracing it. Yeah? So now your ability to balance the concept that you can apply to understand something for what it is makes compassion easier. if you really saw what is going inside the head of your enemy, inside here, the worries, the the delusion, the concept, all the eternal turmoil inside. If you only saw that, compassion would be easier. Yeah. But then to be able to see that, you need to know what the true nature of reality is. It's not how you see it. When we see it, we look at your enemy and you see a man, red face, looking scary, maybe holding some stick or something like that. That's the concept that we have. But in reality, you go searching deeper into it. Frightened little child, full of fear, full of fear of losing the precious eye. It's trying to protect the precious eye with its life. That's the concept. So the reality is different from what we see, what it seems to be. Yeah? And that's, I think, one of the core reasons to practicing the view of emptiness. Now the second core reason is ourselves. Yeah? Same like how I explained your enemies, same thing is also us. We are in our minds constantly trying to protect the grasping the I, the me, the mine, my phone, my dad, my this, my people, my country, my nation. Yeah. Constantly. Then money, my this, my position, my. Then the body, my body has to look good, has to look pretty. And not just that, also speech. I want to hear good things about me. I don't want to hear bad things about me. Constantly working so hard to live up to the image. Creating an image that is full of delusional views. That is not true. Yeah? I want to be, be praised. I want to be given value in that sense. So same thing. Frightened little child trying to hide behind presumably what we try to show, that we are strong, we are able, we are capable, but in reality, no. There's nothing Maha about us. There's nothing Maha about the I in here. That's a frightened little child, squealing, searching for small crumbs of care, of love from others, surviving on those crumbs. That's basically it. Then when someone gives you something, the pride, it's like you're feeding a cow. Give some crumbs, feed a dog, same thing. Gives a little bit of food, wiggles its tails, comes near you, squinting down. Exactly the same. We are no different. And that's reality. Look inside yourself. That's reality. I'm not joking. I mean, other than if you have achieved Buddhahood, if you have gone into the path, then nothing to say. But if you are a mere human being like me, exactly like that. Squealing little child, crying, begging to get noticed, begging for some love, some care, some kindness from others, and always trying to keep up your image to please others so that they can give us a little bit of their care and their love and their sincerity. It's scary. Very scary. You look inside here, it's very scary. Very, very scary. Make sense? Good. So, that's why the value of understanding life, understanding yourself, understanding your mind, understanding that the flow of life within yourself that goes up and down throughout years of experience, of years of learning, of wondering, of searching, ultimately leads you to give you a better idea of what's hidden inside, what's hiding inside. And when you are applying that view, that understanding, then you are halfway there to really applying the view of emptiness. Yeah? You need to understand that in order to apply apply the view of emptiness to negate the self-grasping attitude. Grasping attitude,
grasping to the self of person, grasping to the self of phenomena.
Grasping to the self of person, grasping to the self of phenomena. Negate the method to negate these two negatory negatory what object? Attitude, negatory attitude. There you go. Now you are getting more of a sense why the view of emptiness and not why emptiness. Emptiness is basically nihilism, nothing else. Things don't exist, that's it, empty. This space is empty. There's nothing in it. It's the concept. It's the only concept we apply when it comes to space is like Thorekasam Mega, we say. It's permanent is because there's nothing in it. It's nihilism. So the coexistence of the application of that concept together with the view of emptiness gives you a better understanding and a reason to develop compassion. And now you put these three together, now you are understanding what the path is. The path is not Wang Lung Menga. What is a Wang Lung Menga? Wang Lung Menga.
Lung is like initiation.
Initiation?
Lung is oral transmission.
Oral transmission. Menga
is like perceptual instructions.
Yeah, so it's not these things. What I mean? It's not these things. Practice is understanding the core value in practicing this renunciation, bodhicitta, and the view of emptiness. Then you get stuck in so many different things here, stuck here, this image, that image. No value. End of the day, inside no change, outside no change. Then only trying to grasp more and more and more and more. And you think that gives you more value. It doesn't. Maybe in the, conceptual world, conventional world. Maybe in the conventional world there is a little bit of value. Oh, I did that, I was able to do this, oh, we did that, we did this. But there's a conventional world. In the real world, no matter how many initiations you collect, you're going to die. No matter how many how many oral transmission you collect, you're going to die. No matter how many
we can say pith instruction.
No matter how many pith instructions you collect, you're going to die. And the same thing with the child inside. No matter how many initiations you collect, the child inside is like this, squealing, looking for some kindness from people, looking for bits and pieces of care and love, searching around, looking for people, nice looking people, kind people. Oh, that person is kind, going there, and avoiding the people who are not kind and not angry. Well, reality. Right? So what are you doing in reality, not in a conventional world? Don't think from a conventional world. What are you doing in reality that changes inside, that brings change inside? That's the main question you need to ask yourself. The pride is nothing there. Yeah, outside you're showing so much pride. Inside, like I said, scared little squealing baby. Yeah, searching for scraps of love and care. And that baby, if only that baby knew how to care for itself, then it's independent. But that also, no. You are not independent. That's why I said you need to search inside, look inside. If you learn to look at your mind like your own child, now you are starting to become independent. You're starting to learn to stand on your own feet. Even that is not there, then what are we searching? Yeah? A small glimpse of reality. Then we go to the Heart Sutra. The indifferentiation. Is it indifference? Indifference. Dendameva. Like indifferent. Cannot separate.
Inseparability, maybe.
Inseparability. So the inseparability between reality and the view of emptiness. You see now, little bit? The inseparability. You look at reality. It's all labeled, conceptual label. Labeled by view, perspective, how we want to see. True reality is not that. Yeah, true reality is here. Then the the application of the view of emptiness is understanding the true nature of reality. Picking out things that are not real, that are, that are fake, and throwing them away one piece at a time. And even on the Bodhisattva's way, all the way to the tenfold path, tenfold path. And even after the tenfold path, we have the tenfold tantric path. Even there, we are still searching, throwing bits and pieces away. Of deceptional views. That's the path. You want to negate the two negatory, negatory concepts? That's the path. It's going to take a long time to pick out what was the word, needle in a haystack. It's like a needle in a haystack. You throw away the haze, you find the needle. Same thing. The path, the Bodhisattva's path, is all about picking those things out, one step at a time. From Rakpa to Tawa. Rakpa.
Gross to subtle.
From gross views that we apply, grasping attitude views that we apply, to subtle. The higher you go, the subtler the view. That's what the tenfold path is all about. That's what the Bodhisattva's path is all about. That's what the tantric path is all about. That's why yesterday I said, in order to even enter the tantric path, you need Yejung Changsem Yang Tabe Tao. If not Zomeki Nyawa, you need Zojeki Nyawa. Zojeki Nyawa is what? Effort.
Yeah, effortless.
Effort, you need to effort, even if you can put some effort and understand it, that one you need. Now you see the importance of these three here. No other, I don't think any other practice is as important as these three. Most essential. You want to go into war, what do you need? You need a helmet to protect your head, because your head is very, very important, right? You need bulletproof vest to protect this part, because this is very important, right? And you need a gun to shoot the enemies, these three things. I think, these three things most important, yes? So, these three things most important. If someone hit your leg, no problem. It's not as important as these three. Yeah, that's why you don't have leg. What is it? Leg bulletproof vest. Or your arms, maybe. You chopped off, you can still survive. Without these three things, no practice. Practice cannot be. It cannot be internalized. So really, you want to internalize practice. These are essential. Yeah? I need to pee. What time is it?
Off you go, off you go.
This is the problem with the with the body. You need to. I go toilet. You okay? Everyone okay? I go toilet.
And we can meditate.
Yeah, meditate. Good. So, I think coming back to the concept of compassion, sometimes the contemplation of how when you care, when you love, when you express empathy, when you express joy towards love, joy towards empathy, joy towards care, when you express Lama? This one? Can I hear?
Yeah. If you touch, yeah.
Mechanical. Magic. Huh? Magic. Imagine us in a cave million years ago without all of this. So our ability to understand the application of love, care, empathy, not just because we are creatures that are capable of loving, we are creatures that are capable of empathy, care. What else? Any other words? Kindness, yeah, kindness, thoughtfulness, concern, generosity, acceptance. So we are creatures that have that capability to express those. Contemplate the idea behind when, how, where we should express those kinds of emotions. We have that capability. Something wrong? Okay? So we have that capability. But it's limited. It goes to a point, yes, but it's limited, and therefore it's conditioned. When it comes to sincerity, we can be sincere to a point, but then again there's a limit to the sincerity. How far, how sincere we are. Same thing goes to genuinity. There's always a limit that somehow, somewhere is stopping us from going beyond. And if you really search, start digging and search, it comes back to the concept of I. The limit, we are unable to cross the limit when we think the I doesn't benefit. When we start seeing that the I is not getting anything from there, that's when we stop doing it. Yeah? And the concept of the application of these methods to understand the I is totally different from how we perceive the I. And that's the reason why, even though we know that the grasping attitude is not good, and the I, the concept of being, putting yourself in the what we say, in the position where you are, where you, what we say, you admire the I or give the best to the I, is not fruitful. And that's the whole reason behind it. So contemplating one step at a time to understand where the limit of my love, my care, my, what were the other words? So many other words. My kindness, my empathy, my concern, my generosity. Where is it stopping? If you go searching, you find where it's stopping. Then you need to start to research, okay, it's stopping right there, but why? And if you don't find the scared little, crumpled up child waiting at that point where the compassion, where the love is stopping, you won't be surprised to find it there. Yeah? That's, I think, one of the reasons why we need to work on ourselves first before starting to expand our ability to love, to care, to help others, to include others. We need to work on ourselves first. Yeah? So, understanding the method to arrive to that point where our limitations are. First step. Then once we arrive there, then we go deep inside ourselves. Inside Namchela Kharisa, the primary consciousness. Then start caring for the primary consciousness. Yeah, giving it hugs when it needs it, maybe giving it a little praise when it needs it, scolding it a little bit when it needs it. Yeah, when it goes all over the place doing all kinds of things, you need a little bit of scolding. Yeah. But ultimately, you need to have the concept. The concept is exactly the same as bringing up your own child. You want your child to grow up to be a good person, a great person, a kind person, a mature person. Then you need to apply the right method at the right time to, to guide it in that way. So that's where the working on yourself starts, working on your mind starts. And that's the one of the, I would say that's the first step towards compassion. Some people say, "Wow, we're learning to love others." That means giving up everything for others. Don't care about anything about the self. Not caring about yourself and not having to care about yourself is two completely different things. People look at Lama Zopa and think, oh, he's not caring for himself, he's practicing bodhicitta, and I need to do the same. No. Lama Zopa, no need to care for himself. Totally different. You can't put yourself in the same level there. Make sense? It's important. As human beings, it's important to care for yourself. When the time comes where you don't need to care for yourself, then you cannot care about yourself at all. Give everything you have. Let go of everything. Like I said, you develop your compassion to a point where you're free. Then it doesn't matter. But when you are bounded, you need to learn to work with the bondage that is around you. When you have anger, you need to learn to use that anger to your benefit. When you have hatred, you need to learn to use that hatred to your own benefit. And your own benefit doesn't mean you using anger to kill the other people. That not like that. Your own benefit, meaning you use the anger to free yourself from the chain of all this, what do we say, worldly concerns. When you are angry, sometimes you get inspired. Have you ever felt that? Huh? You become so angry that you put all you have into it. It's powerful. Anger is very powerful. It's where you use, or where you divert the anger towards, that makes the difference. It's not that you have anger and you shouldn't use it and it's bad. You need to learn how to use it. Same thing with any other emotion, I think. This is on the ground level, okay? We are talking on the ground level. So the bodhisattvas, close your ears. For now, the bodhisattvas, close your ears. We are talking on the ground level as mere human beings, and we need to walk to, there's a human path. We need to cross the human path into the bodhisattva's path. That's how you do it. You use what you have. Coming back to the saying where His Holiness is saying, you want to practice bodhisattva, don't practice bodhicitta in a stupid way. Be a smart bodhisattva. That's for human beings. Bodhisattvas who are on the path, they don't need to be smart. They're already balancing everything and taking everything on their shoulder. They already have the capability to carry that luggage. We don't have, so that's why if you want to practice bodhisattva in the ground of a human realm, you need to be a smart one. Use the emotions, habituated emotions, and convince yourself to direct those habitual emotions towards a path that helps you gain freedom. Instead of being angry because your phone doesn't work, be angry because you are still stuck here and you want to get liberated. See, diverting. It's the anger, but you're diverting it. Same thing goes with the grasping attitude. Instead of saying, me, my, I want to keep, I want more, feeding the greed. Instead of feeding the greed, you use instead of using the I to feed the greed, you use the I to inspire yourself to do more. To find the right way to be able to fly, to be able to be free. Does that give a different perspective? Make sense?
Repeat it.
Could I?
Repeat it.
Repeat it?
Yeah.
Say it.
Repeat?
Yeah, like
Again?
that one when your phone doesn't work.
What did I say? When your phone doesn't work?
And you get angry.
Instead of being angry that your phone doesn't work, be angry that you're stuck in your
Samsara.
Yes.
Something like that. This is an example. Just an example. You learn to, manage. Has anyone been rafting? Yeah. So when you go rafting, you don't go against the current. You learn to flow with the current. Right? So similar to that. When there's a sea inside like this, you learn to manage the sea with the sea. The ultimate goal is to make the sea calm. Yes, that's the ultimate goal. But when at the moment the sea is like this, and you're expecting it to be calm, it's not just expectation, it's not going to make it calm. Yeah? So you need to learn to navigate through the turmoils. This is, I think, the path in the human realm. Yeah. Then slowly navigate, and the sea get more better and better and better, more calmer. Then you reach the gate of Bodhisattva. Then it's not just calm, but it just takes you. It's like a current. What is that word inside the ocean? They have this Rift, yeah, so it's like the rift, it takes you. That's when you have wings, that's when you have freedom. Ah. So when it comes to emotions, this is the method, I think. For me, this is a very important kind of practice. It's a method that you work on to, to navigate through turmoils, internal turmoils. Because anger will happen. You are not a bodhisattva. If you are not a bodhisattva, then anger will come. Sometimes anger towards your family, sometimes anger towards your friends, sometimes anger towards your sister, sometimes anger to your brother. This happens. It happens. Arguments, this, that. It happens. But how do you want to navigate around it? This is in your hands, totally in your hands. Right? The anger comes, and it's in your hands, yes, whether you want to, but it's not 100% in your hands, because we are human beings who have been habituated in the form, in the practice of developing anger for lifetimes. And to get rid of that habit, it's going to take some time. Yeah, someone who smokes gets time to, it takes time to slowly, get rid of that habit. Same thing with habit when it comes to compassion or love or kindness, anything, any good positive emotion. Yeah, positive emotion. So any positive emotion. Also, when we are not habituated for lifetimes and lifetimes, that is going to take time to build. So you need to be patient with yourself. One example I always use when it comes to emotions is the hands. You are writing with your right hand. Your ability to write with your right hand, your handwriting is so fast and so quick and so nice, you can write. But this didn't come in a day like this. Right? It took you 30 years, 40 years, 20 years to practice. From A, B, C, D, all the way 1, 2, 3, then kindergarten, high school, primary school, secondary school, college, and finally now you have the handwriting fast. Then I tell you to write with your left hand, you can't. But try. If you're willing to give the exact amount, same amount of time you gave on your right hand to your left hand, I guarantee you will be able to write with your left hand as well. But you need to be willing to give 30 years, 40 years of practice. Experiment you can do maybe, if you're still young. Yes, Jasper. Write a book about it. When Jasper is turning 50 years old, yes, I tried this experiment. Maybe that time you will disprove what I said. He told me this, but it was completely wrong. I did it for 20 years, nothing came out. But yeah, that's what I think. If you're willing to give the same amount of time you gave to this hand, it will be near.
I always think about athletes who just spend so many hours, so many years, better and better at their sport. And if we applied that amount of effort to, developing our mind, people get quite passionate about developing their physical skills and ability, but not for their mind.
So, habituality. Same method, no difference. Habituality. Anger comes, it comes, habituality. If you don't work on it and you let it flow, then you're feeding it to the habit. It's just going to get worse. But if you are able to manage it, divert it, control it, tweak it, little by little, then that's where change comes. Make sense? Good. So through this concept of habituation, we arrive to the concept of dependent origination. The links between how things work, how things are formed, how things happen, and your ability to change how things will happen coming forward. Sometimes it only takes one thought to change everything moving forward. So, same thing with karma. A lot of people, when they understand, when they study about karma and they understand karma, sometimes there is certain types of karma that are that have to be planted in order to bloom, right? There are certain types of karma like that. But then there are also certain types of karma. In karma there's many different types of karma. But then there's also certain types of karma that are very quickly conditioned and appear or what do we say, come into form, blossom very fast. The planting part is always has to do with the mindset. Yeah, the mind that you have. The primary consciousness is always the one that plants seeds. Right? The ability to plant seed is within that primary consciousness. Then the ability to what do we say, make shape how you want to change things. Yeah, this is one thing in, I think it's a traditional excuse as well as an excuse that a lot of Buddhists use. Can't do this, karma. Can't do that, karma. Yeah, we are here, karma. We are there, karma. It's not a good excuse. It stops you from seeing your capability to change, to make a difference. So I suggest you not to use that excuse. Yes, I've heard in Sherpa culture, in Tibetan culture, lere. Right? This is very commonly used. Huh? Lere. This ko dine cha ko lere. It's like, oh yeah, he has to suffer. It's his karma. We cannot do anything about it. Which is not true. For me, I always look at karma like a playing dough in your hand. And this is how I always explain karma. It's a very easy way to get what do we say? Get acquainted. This is a very simple idea and a way to understand and get acquainted with the concept of karma. It's same as the clay dough in your hand or a wet clay in your hand. You have a clay in your hand, it's up to you when to move your finger and how to move it, with how much pressure, with how much strength. Yeah? Do you want to use another hand to make it into a longer clay? It's in your hands. So karma is simply like that. It's a clay in your hand. The moment you start wiggling your fingers, the moment you start changing thoughts, motivations, views, concepts up here, you're moving your hand, you're starting to change the structure of the clay. You start changing your karma. So karma is not an excuse to use. It's rather than an excuse. What's the opposite of an excuse? Motivation?
Willation.
Huh? Yeah, something like that. More instead of an excuse, it's more like a determination to proceed forward, to look forward. Huh? You look at your ability. If you have the ability to do something, then you look forward to changing the world, changing this, changing that. Right? If you have the ability to build a structure here, then you look forward to seeing the structure. Right? So similar to that. When you see you have the ability to change, not just in small bits, but change karma drastically, that's when you see the power in you, the empowerment, and you get the courage, you get the strength, you get the will. Is it the will? Willingness? Will? Will, yeah. You get the will to move forward and do the things that we talked this morning. Free yourself. So you need to start seeing karma in that way. Make sense? Good. So yeah. So the application of the view of emptiness comes from understanding the root, what we say, method to really understand the concept of the view of emptiness comes from understanding karma and the change. The what's it, relativity, is it? Relativity? The relativity and the link between all of this. Like the chain. Yeah, what do you call this? Just chain? Links? Chain links? You know, in the ship they have the anchor and then something, the chain like anchor like this, long chain. So, if emptiness is the anchor and you are on the ship, yeah, the chain is the method to understand how deep the anchor is. Right? Exactly the same. You want to understand emptiness, you need to understand karma, concept of karma, concept of cause and condition, concept of change. Then through that, what do you see? You start seeing reality. Yeah? When you understand, when you look at conditions, oh, the wind is cold, the air is cold, everything is cold, and the tea has been in this cup for the last 1 hour, now you already understand, oh, the tea is cold by now. So similar to that concept. Yeah, you see the conditions coming together and the link between the conditions. You start seeing reality. You start seeing how your view of things is not the right view. It's not the reality. It's expressed through emotion, it's expressed through greed, it's expressed through attachment, it's expressed through all this gross, what was it? Gross phenomena? No, not phenomena, gross mindsets, gross thoughts, gross motivation, gross mindsets. That's how the idea of, yesterday I told you, right? When you first in love, you fall in love with a goddess or a god. Then as your relationship goes forward, that god becomes a human, that goddess becomes a human. And at the end, when divorce is near, then that goddess you found is the devil and the Tantress. Demoness. It's the change of the concept. That's not reality at all. You start seeing, because of the changes that are happening, the cause and conditions that come together, you start to see the reality. Right? So, Tyndall, dependent origination, the concept of cause and condition, the concept of relativity, the concept of the chain between situations, conditions, views, perspectives, and everything that links us to where you are and who you are. You start understanding that, you start understanding reality. and you start understanding reality, then you start understanding the application, the main root way to applying the view of the emptiness, to understand what things are and for what they are and how they are. Make sense? Good. So nearly 11:30. Today I request Anila to do some dedication. Yeah? Chito? Yeah? Chancho semcho rinpoche magye panam kengyo se kyawa nyamba me paya kone kundu pewa sho tingke zure kime je zure namba dadane losa me pe zure ke zure baro jindu sho. Please, Anila.
Okay. We just take, it's so loud. Okay, so we just take a very short moment to try to integrate what the Rinpoche said. And we dedicate that we are really, really able, that we work joyfully, enthusiastically, to integrate the teachings of Rinpoche from yesterday, from this morning, and also from the next days, the coming days. That we really can understand ourselves more deeply, with loving kindness towards ourselves, so that we can understand others, our friends, families, colleagues we work with, but also all what happens in the world. That we can encounter all that what happens with a more loving kindness, understanding. That's it. Thank you. And we pray, we dedicate for the very long and healthy life of all our holy teachers, especially His Holiness Dalai Lama, but all our holy teachers that inspire us. And we dedicate for all those who we know are sick, like Venerable Sara, and it's thanks to her, and also thanks to Venerable Kadro that we are here. So we dedicate specially for them, that they also can hear these teachings, and for all those we know who are in difficulties. And we send love and kindness to the whole world. May peace prevail the earth. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Anila.